Alright, it's your neighborhood nighttime gardener. Neighborhood because I'm in the urban area. Nighttime because it's nighttime. Gardener because I'm walking through the garden. But anyway, why do I do nighttime gardening? Only because I work all the time, I'm busy all the time, and this is the only time I can actually go spend with my garden and just relax. And I've had a few to drink, and it's more fun that way. Anyway, let's walk you through and give you an update. I think it's been over a week since I've did a little video showing my garden. Again, I'm no expert. I'm just sharing with you what I have got going on. I welcome constructive criticism, anything to help me better my garden. I have learned some things. I'm not as dumb as I used to be. I've watched a lot of other gardeners, talked to gardeners, and I've learned quite a bit. But I've got a lot more to go. So let's walk back here to the garden. It's a mess. It's going to be a mess until things really start kicking, and then I can kind of clean up around it. I'm constantly changing things in this garden. Alright. Here's a little tree saplings that we were trying to work on. Other than the water maple that sent its little whirly birds in there and planted seed. They're not doing great, but these are Japanese red maples, so they're hard to grow from a clone. But there is some extra okra. There's some sunflowers in these. Don't really know what to do with them. I actually bought more than I needed. I actually planted seed, but my seed didn't do too good, so I went ahead and went and got plants. Just some Nemesia, be a good pollinator. Here's my strawberries, asparagus. Asparagus won't produce anything this year. It's first year planted. I just threw in these 3 little sweet potato plants. Also got, oh, look at there. I didn't even see that. That has got to be, what was that? Planted something else in here. I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. Well, I'll have to look it up in my little book. I also got some basil planted in here. It should be popping up the next few days. Just look at my cool weather crops, or cool weather crop garden, which is all right here. So I got green and purple cabbages through here. Actually, don't think any of my purple have done good. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference was. But the green. Well, I mean that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That is a purple cabbage. It looks like that is that one didn't do good at all down there. There's some cantaloupe. I've got to get 2 more planters to put right there. It's my watermelon beds, raised beds. My purple kale, green kale, purple kale. Here's the Brussels sprouts. 2 rows. This is some broccoli. Down through here. 2 rows. We have over here, we got some lettuce, butternut, and I forget what the other kind is, but different types of lettuce. Get some turnips, and a whole bunch of turnips here that I gotta thin. I'm just kind of letting them grow. Eventually I will thin them. Some radishes. Some cauliflower and some lettuce. If you notice, in between just about everything, I've got an onion plant just to help with pest control. It's pineapple sage. Some mustard greens, some spinach. Got beets over there that haven't really done much yet. I actually waited a little late on them, but they're late bloomers too. There's some. I gotta weed this. Spaghetti squash did not look very well today, so I trimmed all the dead limbs off, and hopefully it'll be alright. We'll see. Here's some that another winter squash that's growing. Here is some butternut or honey nut squash. Pumpkins. Here's what I plan on doing. It's a little test. I'm always doing little trials to see what works best. So this is my cool weather crops. I just showed y'all. So over here is winter squash, pumpkins and spaghetti squash and butternut squash. Over there in the red totes that I had showed you was watermelon, and cantaloupe will be over there. Well, I'm gonna put with PVC pipe, rebar, and some old chain link fence. I'm gonna make a trellis that goes all the way across this. My goal is that these, I don't know if you've ever seen winter squash, pumpkin, and others, but they grow long vines. Watermelon and cantaloupe grow pretty long vines themselves. So I'm hoping to go across this cool weather garden, so when the weather starts getting hot, I'm hoping that that will shade these cool weather crops and they'll grow a little longer through the summer. Just a test. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to find out. I've seen gardeners do shade cloth and things like this. I would rather use something that gives me purpose. You know, we love pumpkin, we love watermelon, we love cantaloupe. So that will work out great if it works out. If not, I learned something. Let's walk down this aisle. We'll do our corn last. I know I'm probably silly doing this, but I hope somebody gets something out of it. But I do. I enjoy walking. It helps me see things different when I talk about it. Down through here, we'll go through these. Over here is my pickling cucumbers all down this road. Of course, I got marigolds, because marigolds are good for your garden. Here we got okra. Got one that kind of drifted over here. It's okay. We'll take care of it. Over here is my salsa garden that I'm not very happy with. I've been so busy I haven't really been able to give it the care I need to. The tomatoes are doing okay. They're slow growers. They were like the first thing I planted. But they're growing. They're just slow. They'll take off here in a little while. I got borage, which helps the tomatoes, helps insect control. There's a marigold. Of course, I got basil in here and onions. And then I got the tomato plants themselves. Different varieties. I've already pruned them once. Of course, I'll prune them again. And if you don't prune your tomatoes, you're missing out. I won't go into detail, but I will explain something to you. If you look closely to a tomato stalk, feel it. It's a little spinally. Little hairs. A tomato plant is not made to grow up. It's made to grow across the ground. We force it to grow vertical. And by doing that, that's when you get more fruit. If you was to let it go across the ground, you wouldn't get much fruit, or very little fruit. So by trimming the bottom of these, pruning the bottom leaves off, and then packing more compost dirt around it, it takes root, and it forces the tomato to grow more, which is what you want, because eventually when they start getting fruit, you're going to get a lot more fruit. Over here's one of my little container gardens. Let's see which one this one is. It's called candy cane peppers. It's one of those crazy ones I saw at Lowe's. I wanted to try. I'm going to try it. Another marigold. There's a purple bell. Right there. It's a pretty little plant. Got basil. And there's a ground cherry. Look forward to seeing what that ground cherry does. If you've never grown ground cherry, it's kind of like a tomatillo. It kind of grows in the same pouch. It's very good. More purple basil here. Another pepper plant. I threw a cabbage plant in there. I don't know why I threw a cabbage plant in there, but hey, what the heck? I threw a cabbage plant in. Here's why I'm not happy with my salsa garden. I planted these peppers pretty early. Just got 1, 2, 3 rows, 2 rows of bell peppers, different kinds, and then 1 row of very hot, like ghost pepper and Carolina Reapers. They're not budging. I haven't seen them come up, and I planted them from seed. So I did go and get a little chili pepper plant and put in there. I've also got a bell pepper plant. I'm going to plant California, Wonder, whatever they call them. And there's some more, some tomatillos I'm going to plant if those don't start coming up. But that's the way it goes sometimes. But over here, also not happy. So I planted those little strips that you buy of chives, and I'm just not having no luck with them. I've never had good luck with onions and chives. I don't know what I do wrong. I tried to get them out early this year, and I know my little Jack Russell, I ended up planting some cilantro over here. Well, I didn't originally have that there, but that little demon dog we've got loose one day and come over here and dug a big hole after I'd already planted stuff. So that little demon dog, I love her, but she is a demon. So I had to put something else in here, so I wasn't sure. But still, though, I don't have a whole lot coming up here, and it just bothers me. There is a little bit of dill that I threw in there, because I do a lot of companion planting, so I throw the stuff in with something. A lot of herbs I always like to throw in with everything else. Down through this row, you saw I had the okra back here, but I got some old arrows from, bow and arrows. They're my halfway markers. And I got bush beans in these 2 rows. And these are the, I forget what you call them. Anyway, 1 row of bush beans. All the way down through here that I went and got plants for at Fernwood Gardens in Columbia. Down here, I put seed in the ground that I got from Co-op. I've got 2. I had the royal purple. They didn't come there. I never seen one sprout. I don't know if I did something wrong. So I went and got these. They're similar. They grow the long beans like the royal purple, but they're yellow. So if the royal purple come up later, I kind of think that would be pretty for my garden. Yellow and purple long beans. But anyway, down here at the end of the garden, I have some pollinating flowers. I have pollinating flowers all down through here. Sunflowers, Marigolds will come up eventually. This is my actual tomato patch. That was the salsa garden over there that I had some tomatoes in. I have one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tomatoes over there. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tomato plants. And then I have one more row. 13, 14, 15, 16 tomato plants total. And believe you me, every time I go to Lowe's, Co-op, TSC, Walmart, anywhere I go, if they got tomato plants, I cannot it's hard for me not to buy one. They smell so good, and tomatoes are like the essence of what makes people want to garden. They taste good, they smell good. It's just wonderful. But anyway, I have basil planted in here. I have marigolds. I have zinnias. I have borage planted in here. I have more basil, Thai basil, sweet basil. And I know, I'll say it again, the reason I do that, for one, I love the smell of basil in my garden and dill. It just puts off a wonderful smell. But the insects don't care for it, so they stay away. That's a wonderful thing. So, I'm going to walk over here and show you. Showed you my tomatoes. There's more borage in between them. But I have 2 rows of pepper plants. This is my hot row. That's my mild row. I have ghost peppers. I have habaneros. I have cayennes. I have hot poblanos and serranos. And then I have bells, purple, yellow, red, green, all down through here. Alright. Here's my sweet potato bed. I have sweet potatoes planted all the way down through here. And I have celery over there. And then I have some pollinating flowers right here. But I have bush beans down through here. I have black bush beans. And I just noticed, I haven't had a chance to look at this garden, I have bush bean plants coming up. That is awesome. Because I have not had luck with bush beans lately. I've got one right there. There's a pretty little plant. That's amazing. And these are here's the little pack to come in. I'm looking forward to that. My wife loves black beans. So it'd be nice to get some more. Grow some. Got 1, 2, 3 eggplants. These are the black beauty types. And then over there I have an eggplant, but that's a Japanese eggplant. I have parsley and sage and cilantro and oregano planted around this little garden. I have one little purple bell pepper. No, I'm sorry, that's a banana pepper plant. And then I have my onions. I have the white variety. I have the, I think it's the white. Anyway, I have the yellow variety, the white variety, and the purple variety of onions. I don't like onions. And I think they know it because they don't like me and I have a hard time growing them. But they're going to grow this year. Down through here, I have some of that huge dill that grows real high. Here's my long English type cucumber plants. I'll put a trellis in between them. Alright, now we get to the 3 sisters. What is the 3 sisters, you may ask? It is And any of you that may have watched my videos know I've talked about this a lot, but I had a lot of success in the past with it, and I like it. I see the benefits of it. So right here we have a white corn plant. Right there we have a zucchini squash plant. We have 3 of them in this little garden. We have corn, the white corn planted all the way through here. We have 3 rows, small rows of it. In between the corn we have beans, the pole type. You don't want bush beans with this. And what happens is the corn grows tall and provides a stalk for the beans to grow. The beans, the roots of the beans put off nitrogen that the corn and the squash both need. The squash, the zucchini or crookneck, which I'll show you, crookneck and yellow, any kind of squash, put off ground cover that helps weed control, helps insect control. It does a lot of things for the other 2. That keeps them from rotting and stuff. Over here, I have 1, 2, each pole represents a row. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of peaches and cream corn. They're coming up pretty good. I'll walk down the middle of them, show them to you. Here I have a bee balm. Over here I have I cannot remember these flowers. The name's of calendula. This is supposed to be great for pollinating. So here's one of my straight neck squashes. Here's my corn. Going out through there, growing good. I'll thin this and heal this later. Here's another. Beans are really doing good on this side. I don't know what the difference is. But they are. That's okay though. So there'll be a straight neck squash plant. Another small one. This one never produced, so I went and bought a new one, and it's a different one. It's called Sunny Delight squash. Bought it at Coop, and that's what I do. I know people think it's a waste of money. I'm not about trying to just save money. I enjoy the gardening. This is my hobby. I love it, but I also want to learn. And maybe my learning, what I tell you, helps you. Maybe not. I don't know. It's up to you to research yourself and find out if, hey, is this Derek guy crazy? But if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you, yeah, he's crazy. But besides that fact, I do enjoy this, and I'm trying to learn. And I hope if you watch this, you'll learn a little bit with me. Maybe you might learn what not to do, but that's okay. Another little one that's coming up. Some more peaches and cream. There's some sunflowers that's coming up. That's the 4th sister. I didn't tell you that. 3 sisters is the squash, beans, pole beans, and the corn. There's a 4th sister sometimes included, which is like sunflowers. And what they do is sunflowers grow just as tall as corn, and birds love sunflowers. And birds can attack sunflowers, and you still have plenty left of seeds. So what it does is, if the sunflowers are growing within your corn plants, it kind of gets the birds going after the sunflowers, and it makes them leave your corn and other stuff alone. So I plant them sporadically through here. But here you go. There's down here. This is some white mushroom squash that I'm trying. It's actually called early white bush scallop squash. It's a lot. It's growing pretty good though. One of my little bitty old compost piles. Here is my wife and son are working on a chicken coop. I'm very proud of what they've done so far. None of us are carpenters. None of us have done much of this kind of stuff. You know, I'm a hard worker, but carpentry is not my thing. My wife and son have never done it other than she watched her dad doing it growing up a little bit, I'm sure. But he wasn't a carpenter, but he could do some stuff. But they're building our little hen house. We bought 14 pullets, different varieties. We're down to 12. So far, 2 have died. I think the rest are doing pretty good. But got a little door here. Yeah, I think they've done great. What they don't know is this is a little fence we put up a few weeks ago to put our dogs in. I'm really thinking about getting a little small pygmy goat to put in here. You should tell him if you talk to him that I said that. I have to pick up some of the stuff because my grandbaby Teddy, all his toys will be gone if a goat gets in there because they'll chew and eat anything. But I am thinking about doing that because I don't think one little goat would hurt anything. Or maybe a pot-bellied pig. But let me turn this light and change it. Alright, let me show you one more thing in my garden. And then I'm going to show you something in her garden, my wife's. Like I said, this is an urban garden. It ain't huge. It ain't pretty. But I'm proud of it. Why? Because I put the work in it. And when anything you put the work in, you should be proud of. Even if it doesn't work out right. You know why? Because you tried. And you put effort. That's important. And you learned something. Even if it's you learned what not to do next time. It's important to try. There's my good 2 cents for today. Anyway, so here's one of my little beds. Super sack that I got years ago at work. They had a hole in it. My potatoes are planted in here. They're coming up. There's some over here. I got a few onions planted in here. Don't know how that'll work, but I'll explain why. Got some basil, little pots. I'll move them later. Some dark opal purple color. But what I do is as those little potato greens start growing, and don't ever eat potato greens. Apparently they're poisonous. I didn't know that until last year. But as they grow, I will put more dirt in there. By the end of the summer, this whole bag will be full of dirt. And when those potato plants start flowering, I will turn this bag over and should have a whole lot of potatoes. I have Yukon Gold and I have 2 different types of potatoes in here, and I have purple potatoes over here. I think red's over here. Over here I got some watermelon growing, seeding, and they're coming up. It looks like a little bit. And this is where the purple potatoes are. That's my garden stuff. Let's go show you hers. I do the food growing, and she does the beauty. I've always been the provider. She's always been the beauty. Ain't nothing changed. Well, she's been the provider too. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, she's the pretty one. I'm the ugly one. Anyway, here we go. She's growing some banana plants. We're gonna plant them over there. Can't see that good, but there's a little garden area. I'll take you around the front of the house and show you what she's growing. But before I do, let me show you this. Here's a little brooder. Look at those boogers. Look at those boogers. Ain't y'all cute? Yeah, we had to get about 2 from every variety. I know the whole purpose of homesteading is to try to get what provides the meat and food and everything, but I think part of all that is what provides joy, and we wanted different varieties. Makes my grandbaby happy to see and learn. He likes to count them. So if going by his counting, on some days we have 12 and some days we have 20. But for a 2-year-old, look at it. Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Yeah, you looking at me. Anyway, for a 2-year-old who can count to 23, yes, I said 23, I'm pretty proud. I couldn't count to 23 until I was probably an adult, and I don't know some days if I can still count that high. But so there it is. Let's go show you the front. Are y'all still with me? It's about time to go get another glass of wine. It's my new chipper truck. And I'll just show you that because I'm bragging and everything. Yeah, I'm bragging a little bit. I'm happy. New chipper. Alright, here's Jessica's rose bushes. Had these for around 8 years. Here's the big one. It's beautiful. It's a knockout rose, and we have trimmed this thing. At one time, it was way above the house when we trimmed it. It is huge. Over behind it, let's see. There's a bird feeder. Here's my daughter's mint. She loves tea and coffee and stuff, so I put her a little mint garden up here because I love my daughter. I like to see her happy. Here is Teddy's little gnome garden. Of course, they're all fell over it now because he plays with them. And of course, he has to put Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and Goofy and Pluto and Bambi all in his gnome garden because he's like a crazed fanatic for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Here's some catnip. Here's some chamomile, however you say that. It's supposed to be good for teas. I don't know.